Hi fellow fruit growers. I really like John's Walkabout, so I thought I'd do a video walkabout in my yard, just kind of give you guys a look at what's growing around here. Try to keep this short. It's right in the front yard. Here's a Meyer lemon, followed by my row of pomegranates. This is a unknown from GrowQuest. I think it's a red silk. Here's a garnet sash. This is a brand new pink satin, and this is the sharp velvet I stuck in my neighbor's yard. He seems to like that. There's a plum tree that needs to be planted, and a nice Suriname cherry. Just picked that up from JRN Nursery. Here out front, there's the Barbados cherry. They've got a lot of mixed reviews on this one, so we'll just wait and see how it turns out. Coming around to the front, here's the Methley plum that can't decide whether or not it wants to go dormant or not. You can see we've got a nice little sprig of recent growth, and the rest of it is pretty well dormant. Here in a row, if you see the little orange flags, these are the pawpaw seedlings that Danny Gabb was kind enough to give to me. This is kind of a low spot. It gets nice dappled sun, so they're planted up on just little berms, and we'll see how they do, if they leaf out in the spring or not. Over here are my loquats by the north fence. They seem to do okay here. I didn't know if they would get enough sun or not, but they seem to be doing all right. And there's my little flying dragon seedling. Hopefully he'll be giving me some rootstock seeds before too long. Come on, Huck. Sorry, got to keep the dog in line. Come on, buddy. All right, coming into the backyard. Here's a ruby grapefruit. And it's a sad little Celeste fig I got off the $5 clearance rack. So hopefully he'll do okay. Here in pots we have the Ujikitsu and the Miho Satsuma. Here's a big LSU gold fig with a Okitsu Wasa right there on the corner of the house. Here in pots are the two new Jabota Kabas from JRN Nursery. They seem to be doing really well. I've been giving them just rainwater, and they seem to like that. Here's a really sad-looking limecot, Lakeland limecot. I got it from RCW Nursery off the clearance aisle. We'll see how it does. Maybe it's really thorny right now. I think it's been stressed. Here are just the seed pots. I've got a Sherwood jujube that Tammy was nice enough to give me, and some rootstock started, and some pawpaw seedlings that Danny gave me. There's the Changshu kumquat, which my little boy ate all the kumquats off of it. He's 2 and can't get enough of them. It's done really well here in this big pot. Here's a Lila avocado. I got it because it was supposed to be cold hardy, and so far it's been doing really well here. It's been here all year. You can see it has some new growth. This is the Miwa kumquat, which my boy likes, but I sure don't. I don't think it has anything on the Changshu. I think the Changshu is the best kumquat I've ever had. Here's a Mexicola Grande avocado. It took a lot of damage in the freeze, in the big freeze, but it's recovered well. A lot of the, if I can get in here and show you, see the main trunk was killed and I had to cut it off here, but it's been coming back fairly nicely. This is a seedling from John Ponzarella's Genoa loquat. It's grown really well. It's doubled in size since I planted it, and hopefully we'll see if its fruit is as big as its parents. Next to it is a very large multi-trunk Meyer lemon that was here when I moved into the house, and I just took off all the waxleaf ligustrums that were overcrowding it, and it's done really well. I plan on top working some parts of it this winter, or this spring. Next to it is the Republic of Texas orange, which, I've got a lot of mixed reviews on its fruit and the fruit quality, but I had a delicious glass of orange juice the other morning. I only had one orange this year, but it was really good, so I'm very excited about it for next year. Next to it is the Sarawak Pomelo, which survived the freeze just fine with minor protection. No fruit off it yet. This is a Pongkoa mandarin, which has grown very well. It's very upright in its growth pattern, and it's been fairly productive. We got about 10 or 12 Pongkoas off of it this year. Here's the Cara pink navel. I have very high hopes for this one. It's not in a just wonderful location, but I think it gets enough sun that it'll do well once it grows up. I've heard that it's very slow growing. Here are the apple trees. This is the Anna and the Dorset. We got Anna apples last year, and they really were very good little apples. They weren't the best apple I've ever had, but they were pretty tasty. keep my bird bath in between. The birds like to come down. I'm in constant battle with this big oleander trying to chop down branches so it doesn't shade my trees. There's a little grapevine that Danny gave me. I'm going to try to train those along the top of the fence. These are some clearance rack Fuyu persimmons. You can see this is $4.99. I just bought them and stuck them in the ground, and they seem to be doing all right. We'll see if they leaf out in the spring. I got 2 of those. There's another grapevine. This is the first tree I ever grafted. It's a Ponkoa mandarin, and with a Sarawak pomelo grafted on the top. And here you can just see the cleft graft. I was very proud that it survived. Here is the Gerardo Buntan pomelo. Even though we got down to 28 a couple of weeks ago, this bit of new growth, it doesn't seem to be phased a bit. It's really doing well, so I'm very excited about it. It is a delicious fruit, and I can't wait to try some. You can see it has this very large fig on the other side of the fence that I'm constantly cutting back to try to keep it from shading it too much. There's another little grapevine. I think it's a Florida fry. This is the Orlando Tangelo. This is an annoying cat. This is the Orlando Tangelo. It looked pretty sick when I planted it, but all the new growth is very nice and green, and the leaves have this interesting cup shape. This is a bloom sweet grapefruit that it really seemed to get kind of sick here for a little bit, and then I gave it some good fertilizer and really put a lot of good quality mulch around the base. I'm sorry, my shadow's in the shot. And it seemed to have recovered well. It's on Flying Dragon. It probably won't get very large, but I'm looking forward to trying the fruit. Another little grapevine. Here is the Wikiwa Tangelo, which has always looked sick. It looked sick kind of when I planted it. I think I got it at in West Columbia in one of those fruit sales. But it's never really done well here. So if it doesn't, I think it might have taken a little more damage in the freeze than I thought. And so we'll see how it does this next year. If not, I might have to pull it out. Okay, moving on. Here are the blueberries. Now I have 8 blueberries in these 25, 30-gallon pots, and they're all doing pretty well. As you can see, they've already set fruit, which is I think is very unusual for December. For January, they've flowered early, and they've really put on quite a bit. Here's some more flowers. The little red and black mason wasps sure do love it. But I've lost labels, so I don't know what all of them are, but they're all rabbit eye varieties. And they've all grown about as tall as the fence, and they seem to do well here. Here they get sun until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then they get afternoon shade. So they really like it. I only give them rainwater. I'll show you my rain tank in a minute, but I have little drip lines that go into each pot with a timer on the porch. So I just turn that timer, and each one will get, however many gallons I specify. On the other side are the blackberries. And some of these have gotten pretty big. I don't know if you can see, there's that T-post and how thick that primocane is, how thick that trunk is. They don't look great right now just because of the season, but I'm very excited. I've got 5 of these up along this wall, and I'm very excited for the production this spring. We got a lot of blackberries last summer off some very small-looking brambles. And of course, there are a bunch of volunteers that I'll probably dig up and either give away or transplant. Anybody wants a blackberry, let me know. These are Kiowa. Here's an Owari Satsuma. I had it out front, and I don't think it was getting enough sun, so I've transplanted it back here, and I think it'll do a lot better. And put it right next to the rain tank. This is the 300-gallon rain tank. I got it from Plastic Mart or PlasticStorageTanks.com, one of those places. But so all my my gutters just feed right down into it, and then I've got an electric pump inside. There's a little check valve, and this hose, and that hose runs all the way down, is buried across the yard, and pops up on that side and feeds all the blueberry drip lines. 300 gallons is not a lot of water. I wish I had a bigger tank. If I had room and the cistern, room for a cistern, I'd put in a large one. Right next to it is the Washington Navel Orange, or the Everhard Navel, excuse me. I bought this one it's on sour orange rootstock. It's not just great, but it's a good tasting little orange. Got one down here. It's got some black sooty mold on it. Here's the seedless Kishu mandarin. We're excited about it for my little boy. I'm sure he'll love it. Here on the porch we have the calamondins. There's the variegated and the non-variegated. a Moro blood orange. We've got some strawberries down in the bed, butterfly weed. See, we had a whole bunch of those monarch caterpillars just all over this thing. I wouldn't expect them to be here, have so many of them this time of year, but there they are. Here's the Mexican lime tree, a nice big one in a pot. Here is my June-bearing strawberry, putting out strawberries on the first day of 2011. Just some Mexican bush sage, and here's the Buddha's hand citron, also off the clearance rack. And there's just some of the herbs. So anyway, that's the tour. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good year.